Do that to me.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Yo, it's the podcast. Can you hear me?
PotCast. I can hear
Ah,
you.
yeah. Podcast.
Hey,
Rolling the podcast.
podcast,
Podcast.
podcast. Hey,
Smoking the podcast. Smoking the drunk in the podcast. I'm, I'm, I think Mandela will be proud of me doing a remix of his song. I just took his melody and created a whole other remix. So
I
I'm
think it works. It works. Completely works.
I definitely think it works. As y'all know, I'm on Henny Cornez here with the most popular podcast. Okay, this time
Okay.
we are not in Brooklyn.
Half of
So
us are still in Brooklyn.
half of us is still in Brooklyn. I'm not sure if we are the most popular podcast during this time at this location. But right now, for my half, we are definitely the most popping podcast in Miami. We're in Miami, bitch.
Hey. Brah, 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 brah.
So I'm working out some of the technicals. I'm trying to get my B cam working, but today it's not going to happen. So we're just going to have my guy, me, Smokey Rob, your son, here in Miami, and we're going to be talking with who we got over there.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Were-
shit.
Were you eating?
Yeah, my friend just handed me some chicken. Black folks
Okay.
some chicken.
Yes, I do.
Oh, it's the OG Shotty Yaddy Yaddy.
Yeah.
Goody, what's goody?
We chilling, yo.
What's up?
Yep. Chilling, man. I'm out here in Miami. I know Shotty. I had to hit up Shotty because he out there in Miami. I'm gonna be on his podcast tomorrow, the Human Sushi Podcast. So ironically enough, I'm out here in Miami, but at the bar that I'm at, I did not bring any weed. So today I'm not smoking anything, but I did have both a weed pen of Gorilla Glue and a CBD tincture.
A tincture.
Yeah, I had a tincture. I feel real
Tincture.
fancy being in Miami having a
Okay.
tincture. Have you had a tincture? Have you ever had tinctures before?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking
I'm
to
a
Olivia.
fan of tinctures.
Yeah. Are you a fan of tinctures?
Yeah, I add Spleef NYC makes a really nice tincture. It's like 300 milligrams, and I add that to when I make edibles. I add that to the frosting of my edibles instead of adding butter. Instead of the cannabis butter, it just blends better.
Okay. Yeah, I just want you to know, Olivia, your camera is still messed up. I don't know what happened with it, but now it's frozen. But we at least got a picture of you. All right.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we can't see you, but for today we'll have a picture of you, and maybe on the podcast we'll be able to see you. But is that good? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. Shotty, I'm so glad that you came on the podcast today. Your first guest, our first out of town guest for the podcast. Give it up for Shotty, y'all.
Woo!
Out of town.
Yeah, out here.
How you been, man? How you been?
I've been cooling, bro. Working on a million things
Shotty?
at once. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
trying to keep everything together. You already know.
I think that Shotty that's frozen.
Nah, Shotty's not frozen. Me and Shotty are looking at each other, talking to each other, looking in each other's eyes right now.
Deep, meaningful.
Yeah, you know that deep
Right.
meaningful rap connection. You feel me?
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess I just play it back for right now, Joy, until we figure out your camera situation.
I'm here.
All right.
I
So poke your voice in anytime you can. Okay. Um, Shot, Shotty, you moved out of New York and back to Miami. Why you moved out of New York, man?
Mostly financial reasons. New York is expensive, you know what I mean? And I grew up and shit, so I just had a better opportunity for making money out here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you already know, man. Living off rap is tough. You feel
Yeah.
me? So
Yes.
I had to come out here and make a couple money moves and shit, so I could keep this rap shit going. Feel me?
For sure, yeah. Living off rap, being just a pure rapper, especially if you're not trying to sell your music catalog to a higher entity, and you just want to have control over it. Besides the whole entity of life, like that's a difficult job. Do you find it easier now that you have financial backing to make quality like rap music or get the music out there, or what?
My thing is like I'm not depending on rap to make a living for me. So I think it's reflected in the music that I'm making. Like I just don't give a fuck anymore. You feel me? So now I'm just
Yeah.
like I'm just going off with it and just like going loose and not really caring about, it's just gonna be like palatable to like a mass audience or whatever. Like I'm just doing what I want to do now, which is cool, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what have you been doing?
Shit, man. I've been since the last time I dropped an album. We did a comic book. We've written some feature films. We dropped some documentaries. The Last Taino, you could see that on YouTube. The Last Taino, it's got like over 250,000 hits and shit. It's
Yeah.
a documentary about the Taino Indians in Cuba. We won a couple of festivals. I mean, I've been busy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just because I ain't been rapping, don't mean I haven't been busy. You feel me?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I know you got the podcast, and you was giving me some tips on the podcast. How's the podcast going? That's what I really want to focus on the podcast today, because I know you got the Pope of comic book, and I know you got the
Yes.
okay. There you go. Mute your shit though. I'm getting hella feedback from you. What you doing over there?
my bad, my bad. I'm just trying to be down with the boys. Where you going, Scotty?
We
So,
back. We out
yeah,
here.
yeah.
We out here. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
I definitely want to talk about the podcast, though, the Human Sushi Podcast. How you came up with the name, and how you even came up with the idea to do a podcast and everything.
Every time somebody asks me like what the meaning of the name is, I try to think of some clever shit. But to be truthful, I just thought it sounded cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I just thought human
Oh,
sushi sounded cool. Now we've spun it into a bunch of different meanings. Like, oh, it just means that it's a variety. We
okay.
talk about a variety of shit. Like you could spin human sushi in a million different ways. But to be honest, it's like the reason I did it was because I thought it sounded cool. It's that
Not
simple. You know
this.
what I mean?
It sounds hella cool, and that's why I'm like excited about it. I'm just like, yo, it's got to be some kind of secret meaning behind this. But so you telling me you just those two words just popped up together?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my thought process, I was thinking because when you eat sushi, it's like you could almost throw anything on a piece of rice and call it sushi nowadays. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it was kind of like what we're doing. Like it's a podcast that's not really focused on one thing, even though like primarily we probably talk about hip hop more than anything else.
yeah,
But you could on any random episode, we could be talking about politics, we could be talking about movies, we could be talking about comic books. Like it don't really, we don't limit ourselves to one thing. So I think subconsciously that was on my mind when I was thinking human sushi. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I really wanted, because we was parlaying last night. We was burning it down, having a conversation, and you were showing me your film catalog that you got. Your film catalog is crazy. I know
Nice.
right now I know you got the music videos, but you got the two short films, and I'm tweaking off those short films. Like you don't even know. Like I'm like, this dude right here found his calling with those short films. You feel me? Um,
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate that.
yeah, but what I already noticed is that you had an undertone of what I want to say. Can I say dark? Is that allowed to, like, darkness? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So that's what the human sushi felt like. You were on your dark shit again. You was on your revisiting that mode.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I have like an inner goth in me or some shit like that. I don't know why, man. I tend to go dark with a lot of my art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all a bit emo. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just
Yeah,
part of being of our generations. Like we got a lot of common sense and a lot of different ways to flip the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Into like a
yeah.
productive thing. So I think that's it seems dark, but I
Word.
also think that like, folks like y'all are like explorers to a sense. Like y'all always kind of everything I noticed with like your videos was that it always pushed like this boundary that like a self-imposed boundary, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the type of art that's supposed to be made right now. It's just like shit that makes all the walls come down, you know? So
That's true, and it's part of that is us not wanting to be predictable too. You know,
Yeah.
because like I even as a consumer and a listener of music and shit, when something is predictable, it loses my attention. You feel me? So that's part of the idea behind like making the videos look like short films. Because it's like when you're watching a rap video, you're
like
expecting a dude rapping at the camera. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was trying to subvert that and make each video kind of like a short film in a sense. You know what I mean?
It's like a good natural hair. Short.
Hey! You and your partner over there talking off screen. You either mute your
that.
camera or bring them on camera and have a conversation with the whole
He's
podcast.
rolling. He's rolling.
All right, so tell him to you gonna have to mute your camera. You know what I
All
mean?
right,
I
I
gotta
will
keep
mute
it.
myself. My bad.
You know what I mean? This is shoddy, man. You can't. Can we get good people? You know what I mean? We can't. That's what happens when you get pot. That's what happens when you get potheads doing podcasts. You know what I mean? Everybody they get sidetracked.
Look. This is why this is the most
Hey,
popular
I'm just
podcast
happy
in
to be
Brooklyn
here,
and
man.
now in Miami as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, most
That's
popular
my man.
podcast in Brooklyn, Miami. So because you're on your dark shit, did you hear about human composting? Did you hear about that?
Human
Human,
composting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Explain this to me.
All right, we're gonna have Olivia Newsom Johns explain what human composting is.
So human composting is exactly what it sounds like. Like, there is now a cemetery, not cemetery, but like it would be a cemetery. People were buried there, but it's a whole place where people get composted. It's like after your death, and you're monitored, and your body becomes fertilizer, a part of the ground again.
Okay,
And
I like this.
yeah, it only takes like a couple days. It takes like a couple weeks for the body to with their process. It takes a couple weeks for your body to just be decomposed into like fertilizer.
So what do? They put you around another couple of bodies because that's what you do with fruit. Like when you're composting, you just throw everything into a jar and then it just breaks itself down. So are you like with other bodies, or are you just like, are you in like a bowl or something like that in a bucket?
No, it's like it's one. So I'm pulling it up now.
All right,
My notes.
come on, do your research.
No, I did do my research. I gotta find my notes, nigga. But it's called recomposition. So it's a natural organic reduction of human bodies, and it's called Recompose. So the company is set up as a public benefit corporation because basically this will enable us to like change a lot of the landscape around the environment. Right? It's providing all these nutrients. It stops taking up space and the grounds for all of these things, but it takes about 30 days for your body to be transformed into the soil. And it's basically they wrap you in this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they can't go tell you all of the secrets
Yeah,
of
they're
how to
not
do
telling
it.
you the whole process.
Yeah,
Like
because
you know,
I
but
don't.
it's
Yeah, you won't want nobody stealing your composting ideas. You know what I mean? They probably got a patent in the compost or some shit.
yeah, there's a process, but like basically you would like be put into a thing with like, you know, other organic materials, earthworms, things of that nature, and there's some type of thing that they add to
Yeah,
it, some type of natural substance they add to it to accelerate the process, so it only takes about a month for the body to be broken down.
yeah.
Um, you know, and then also
Shotty, you trying to get human composted?
I mean, listen, I don't give a fuck what happens to me after I'm gone, bro. I'm not one of
Okay.
those people. I'm an organ donor and all that because I was like, man, fuck it. If somebody, if somebody could use an organ, then take it. I don't give a fuck
Oh,
what y'all do, man.
oh, were you an organ
Once you're
donor?
out, you're out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
I am
fuck it.
too.
nah. I feel like organ donors, like, you know what I mean. You be almost there and shit. They be like, okay, how much you make a year? You know what I mean? Like, let me check. Like, we got somebody who needs that kidney or that gut or some shit like that. So I'm always weirded out about being an organ donor. But now you like human composting. Like, can you still have a traditional funeral if you're composted?
Yeah, it apparently like they
Yeah.
have a whole
They'll do it
space
after the
there
fact.
where your body is
Oh.
it's like there's a ceremonial wrapping. Like you can get your body will be wrapped in some type of environmentally friendly
Okay, I like this.
cloth.
I get turned into a blunt before I left. That's what you basically
Basically.
telling me.
Right,
You
'cause
roll
you still gotta like keep the smells down, and then you know you can do a whole ceremony at the place where they lay you in what your body's gonna decompose in. So at the very top of that is like wood chips, and all
Okay.
the rest of it is underneath it, and then you'll get covered. It's like a stone coffin with some type of aeration, and then the process is begun. Once you're locked into there, it'll start the process of breaking
So
your
what?
body down.
But your bones don't break down, do they? Your bones can't just break down like that in a matter of weeks
You
without being
know,
burned.
Nah,
Are
they
you?
debone you like a fucking chicken.
I mean, in
They
essence,
just,
right, your bones
yo,
will break down
they
eventually, but
debone
it
you
just
like some
takes a while.
salmon at Whole Foods.
hell yeah, they cut you. They just got you propped up in that motherfucker. It's just skin and shit, and just
No,
mad
I
wood
think
chips.
that like
They,
once
they,
your skin and stuff breaks down, this like the skeletal part of you is then
yeah.
burnt and like the ashes are sent back to the family, something like that.
Oh, okay, so I like Shotty's idea of being deboned. Please debone me. Put my bones somewhere in like a classroom and have me like, have my bones be
Yeah,
in the classroom. Um, Shotty,
word.
who's the biggest?
Talk to me.
God damn, yo, what are you smoking over there?
That's that loud. You
Yeah,
got
she.
that loud over there.
This is something called Sweet OG Kush. It's
Uh huh.
called baby Kush, but it used to be called like Sweet OG or something like that. But it's called Baby Kush,
Yeah.
and this shit is super loud.
Okay, and I think I heard you tap. Were you tapping on the table, Shotty, or was that somebody else? Were you rolling up too?
You look like you was rolling up.
Yeah, I'm rolling up. I'm rolling up for sure.
Okay, what you rolling up over there? Okay.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the homie Sauce Kings. You know what I mean? We're rolling up some dos. That's that Sauce
Okay.
King shit.
Okay,
You know what I
Sauce
mean?
Kings.
We also got some sour OG.
Okay.
All right.
Shout out to Sauce Kings, man.
Yeah, I see. Is that one of
And we're
your? That's
working
one of
with
your
some
sponsors,
GMO
right?
too. You know what I mean? So like,
That's one of your sponsors for the human sushi.
yeah, yes sir. We were
What's
smoking on that sour OG last night. What do you think of it?
Sour OG had me smidacked. I was listening to the beats like this. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. I was like this, just like in my world. Like you,
Yeah.
I've been on my freestyle shit heavy, and last night I just couldn't even freestyle. I was just like, yo, the beats was just hitting me, b.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest guest you had on your show, yo?
The biggest in terms of what, like popularity?
I don't know how you define that for you. Like maybe the biggest in terms of like
I don't know
someone
because
yeah.
It's subjective to me. Like it's like to me it's like the biggest guests that I've had are the ones that have had like some sort of like personal significance for me. You know what I'm saying? So like I think about a guest like the homie Serum, that was like a MC that used to be like my rival back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
we never really chopped it up like that until he came on the podcast, and we got to like kind of exchange war stories from back in the day. It's like two soldiers from like a opposing, you know what I'm saying? Like opposing
Yeah.
sides that shared the same battlefield,
Okay.
like sharing war stories and shit like that. So that was cool. Uh,
Did y'all did
the
y'all
homie
did
No
y'all
Emotion.
did y'all
Uh,
settle some kind of beef? Did y'all have a beef and did y'all settle it? The rivalry? Did y'all you feel like you settled it
nah,
or
it
not?
wasn't a beef. It wasn't a beef though.
Okay. It
It
was just
wasn't a
more like
beef.
yeah.
It was more like some hip hop, like some MC shit.
Yeah, okay, okay. Two cats just coming up from the same
Yeah,
era. Okay, yeah, yeah. And then who was the next person you said?
yeah. We were on opposing sides. Like his crew and my crew, like we're both from the same area, from Kendall. You know what I mean? So like, and we were both
Yeah.
like the battle rappers from each crew. So every time like our crews got into some shit, it was me and him having to deal with each other. You know what I'm saying? So like we kind of
Yeah,
developed
yeah,
an appreciation for each other's skill set.
yeah. Did y'all?
Yep.
Is that how you came up with the human sushi? The rap, the rap. What was the what was the rap podcast that you
Sushi
had?
sessions.
The sushi sessions.
Sushi sessions.
Is that how you came up with sushi
Yeah, man.
sessions? Oh,
Nah, I don't even know how we came up with that. We were just, I think, originally Sushi Sessions was just supposed to be like an episode of Human Sushi. We're like, oh, we're gonna do an episode, and it's gonna have like a different format. And then at
okay.
some point, we just decided to make it its own thing. You know what I mean? So like the format behind that is we get two MCs from like different parts of town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like different crews and shit like that, and we get them in the barber chair to do like podcast / performance. So you know what I'm saying? Aside from like talking and getting to know them, they get to perform some of their songs too, and also give each other feedback on their songs. So that's the cool thing about it is we get like artists that don't necessarily fuck with each other, talking about each other's music and shit like that. You know what I mean? So
Is
check that out. The
oh
first episode is featuring DU Ivan and Tetris.
yeah. Do you both Miami rappers? Both I want to say they had they had a lot of different they had different styles, different flows, but there was a similarity between their energy to me. Like, and I guess that's just music and that's just hip hop. But when I was seeing them and then knew that they were about to collaborate too, which was which was interesting because that song that your boy had, what was it Tetris?
Which one? Which one?
That last song with the girl on the hook.
That was Tetris. That shit is serious. That
That
dubstep type shit.
That shit
Sheesh.
fire. That shit
Yeah,
fire right there. But to know that your other boy Ivan is about to hop on that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
To see all right, that's sort of a realm where they can come together because they both sort of like in this weird pocket of artistry. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
although your boy Ivan had that one sort of Miami like that sounded like he was like I want to make a Miami hit, the
Right,
Miami
right.
joint.
And
Yeah,
Ivan
yeah,
has that, but that's the thing about Ivan is like that's a strong part of his skill set. His shit is like he can do the pop shit. A lot of
yeah,
us can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he can
yeah.
do that shit and do it well. You know what I mean? So like more power to him, bro.
Hell yeah. I think I want to do another. That inspired me, our conversation last night, to do like a show because I'm trying to build up the shows on the Smokes and Jokes website. The podcast is just the start. So I've been thinking about doing like a roast show or a show where we just watch like a movie or something like that on silent and we just talking about it, joking on it, looking at little shit that we see because just
That
noticing.
that's an idea that I had called. That's an idea that I have for the
Yeah.
spring called Magical Negro Theater 3000.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not just roast, but like all types of shows, like black shit that you just watch, and
Yeah.
like our commentary around it, kind of like that old robot thing. You know what
Hell
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, no, no, definitely, And so we're gonna have to get you back on an episode or something like that, Shotty, because that was definitely inspired by you, with the what all you doing. What's the biggest lesson you feel like you learned in doing the podcast? What's like, you know what I mean? What have you learned, and what's the biggest learning?
Bro, more than anything, I think what I've gained is that like I've never really been much of a people person, dog. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
this has forced me to sit down and have conversations with a lot of people that I normally probably wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And like I don't know, man. I feel like it unlocked something in me to where now I can like I like having a conversation now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
you knew me a little before, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very
Very,
standoffish kind of guy, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
you was very quiet when I first met you. I was like, this dude, he has mastered stoicism. I was like, you know what I mean? He was, because you know,
Word, word.
like you know. So
Cancel,
I,
brother.
yeah. So I mostly knew you through your music. You know what I mean? So which is
Right.
also awesome. Which is also awesome. But I mostly knew you through your music. So, uh, again, I would, and then we would have like small, short conversations. I was like, all right, he's not trying to murder me right now. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, like if he will murder me in general, but right now, at least he's not trying to murder me. But to
Yeah.
see like the podcast that yo, mute your thing while you coughing. Damn, you in my ear.
I'm sorry. It's so the button is so small.
I know motherfuckers at home like shit. What is she smoking? I gotta smoke that shit because I'm over here like, damn, I need some trees right now. Um,
You can't be coughing like that, like, you know what I'm saying? You can't be coughing these days.
yeah,
People will fuck
yeah,
around
yeah.
and think you got the Rona and shit. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah, you got to hold the shit in like this, especially
You
if
gotta hold,
she
yeah.
she at home though, so she good. Whoever she giving the Rona to already got it.
First of all, there's no Rona in this house. Second of all, second
Yo,
of all,
hashtag no Rona.
It's my Ace Boone over here, young black man out here doing lots of great things. Mark West, he's the gallery owner for like amazing artists.
Okay, young
Um,
Mark West.
yeah, we
All right,
about to hit Brazil
okay. Y'all about
later
to go to
this week.
Brazil
Next week,
next week.
yeah,
Going to,
for a documentary about black artists and favelas
so can you
that he's
please
creating.
make sure you get some Wi-Fi for the joint, and so we can continue the. I want to continue the streak of the podcast for the 52 weeks that has been promised to us. Um, 52 weeks, one
Our
year of
Airbnb
podcast.
site.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Airbnb.
we got Wi-Fi. I got Wi-Fi. Next, it's not
Yeah,
gonna be a problem.
yo,
Not
because I
gonna
know
be
I was out. I was in Vietnam, and everybody in Vietnam had Wi-Fi. They would pee outside in the back, but there was fucking Wi-Fi in the front. So, you know what I mean? Somebody got Wi-Fi.
Potty in the
That's
back, Wi-Fi in the front.
you know what I mean. I like that. I like that. So are you still rapping nowadays, Shotty? Do you still rap?
I stopped for a long time, and then there was an event here locally called Kendall versus Hialeah, right? And it was like two hoods in Miami. They did like a verses, like 20 of the best songs from Kendall, 20 of the best songs from Hialeah. But in the
Yeah.
lead up to the event, a bunch of the MCs from Kendall and Hialeah started going at each other with like freestyles on Instagram, and a
Okay.
couple dudes called my name out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So I
yeah,
felt
yeah.
obliged to
Yeah.
sharpen the fucking sword and shit and take out the Batman suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
respond. And bro, like that shit for some reason it like unlocked some shit, man. And now I'm back in full form. Now I'm like the words are just pouring out of me. You know what I'm saying? So like
Okay.
my thing was I didn't want to force it. Like
Yeah.
I know I could write a 16 bar verse or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like if I ain't feeling it, I don't want to fake it. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, it took me like 6 fucking years to finally feel it again, but here it is. And it just so happens to coincide with like Tev being super inspired too. So,
Yeah.
Tev is super inspired, sending me a bunch of beats, and I'm just like going through them and shit. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful, man. It's good timing.
Y'all, y'all definitely on a fucking wave together, man. I definitely when I met y'all, and I think even till now, like don't. That's a relationship. I'm gonna see if I can get Tev on the call right now. That's a relationship y'all can't let go because I think yo Tev, hop on the stream. Um, yeah,
Facts. Come up, Tab. Come
yeah,
through,
when
Tab.
when
Come
I when I
through.
when I met y'all together, like y'all seemed like y'all was almost like y'all brothers. You know what I mean? I know y'all may not be related, blah blood, but universally y'all brothers. You know what I mean? So I think from now to the end of y'all time, y'all be connected. You know what I mean? On in terms of creatively.
Yeah, yeah. Tev, absolutely. Out of anybody that I've ever collaborated with, he's at the top of the list because like he really does like bring the best out of me. As cliche as it sounds, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just something about when
All
we
right.
work
All right.
together,
All
we
right.
kind of
Okay. I'm gonna have to dispute you on that, Shotty. I'm gonna have to dispute
what's
you on
up?
that, Shotty. And as we had the
What's up?
conversation last night, I love your music with Tev. Tev is the ultimate producer, but your best project to date is the Slim Floyd project, which I found out last night from you that you produced that yourself.
Hey,
So, so I
I
although
appreciate
like
that, man.
yes, Tev brings greatness out with y'all, and y'all consistency is amazing. The best I've ever heard from you is you and your reason buttons and those raps, man. And I definitely need to hear at some point either like bring those songs back out or a part two. I'm gonna need a part two to that. You think you could do a part two of that
Mm,
that kind of music? You know what I mean? Where
mm.
you was more on your singy song joint.
Well, the thing is that like again, it's like I try not to fake it. Like when I'm working on music, I need it to be authentic. So like when I did that album, I really was going through some heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like I wouldn't do a part two for the sake of doing part two, but I feel like if my emotional state calls for it, then I'd definitely be open to it. You know what I'm saying? But I think part of the reason why you like it is because it's so honest and it's so real. It really did come from a real place. Like there's no lies on that album. You know what I'm saying? That really is the way that I was feeling at the time, and that's just what like the way that it happened to come out. Like I was like, I think I told you a little bit about this last night, but when I was going through the shit, I didn't feel like I could convey it through just rapping. So I
yeah,
had to like, go to a different genre just to like get out the shit that I was feeling. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure. Definitely. Like I was honored to like parlay with you last night and like build with you on like making podcasts greater, making the artwork. I definitely need to see more film work out of you. Like I'm excited to see the film project that you're gonna direct and act in because you on your like I ain't taking no prisoners joint and what I like about you Tev and your whole movement is like a not like we're not waiting for someone to give us the okay to do what we already do naturally.
Facts,
You know what I mean? So give us
facts,
your shot.
facts. And that
Give
and
us your
that's why
yeah.
we don't limit ourselves to just one thing. You know what I mean? We try to do a lot of different things and shit.
Yes, for sure. So give us your social media handles, um, and things like that, and where to catch you out. And I'm gonna check you tomorrow on the Human Sushi podcast.
It's Shoddy Music on Twitter and Shoddy ID4 on Instagram. That's Shoddy SHOTTIE IDEE4. And Human Sushi Podcast. That's a Human Sushi Podcast on Instagram and humansushibar.com. We got the merch there. We got t-shirts. We got hoodies. We got all kind of cool shit. You know what I mean? Definitely check us out there, man. And yo, man, like I want to congratulate you on
What's up?
this podcast too, bro. Because like I also, the first year of Human Sushi, we were doing weekly also, and
Yeah,
52 was a huge achievement for us. You know what I mean? So I know
yeah,
you're inching closer to that number. You know what I mean? And seriously, bro, congratulations. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're at an era right now where content is king, and you're
yeah.
definitely staying on top of that, bro. So shout out to you, man.
Yo, I appreciate you so much. I guess we wasn't able to get Tev, but yo, for sure, I'm gonna check you tomorrow on the podcast. Thank you so much for showing up to the Smokes and Jokes podcast of the podcast. Y'all give a shout out to Shadi!
Woo,
Yeah.
Shadi! It was so good to see you, bro.
Yeah. All right,
Yo,
yo,
I
Olivia.
appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Yes, sir. Olivia, we got somebody else in the wings right now. Can you bring them on?
Yes,
Yo,
yes.
Shadi, if you want to say, if you want to say, you want to bounce.
Peace, y'all.
All right.
Hey.
Okay. We get some feedback. What's that?
I don't
Let me
know.
get that feedback. Tiana,
Yes.
mute yourself and then unmute yourself. Hello?
Yes.
I think it's Tiana. How can we alleviate that?
Let me try on my laptop instead of my phone.
All right, try your laptop. Are they both running right now? Okay, we don't know. Hey, are they both running right now? Okay. What? Joy. Hey, matter of fact, since we live, this is a podcast. Something keep on saying. It keeps on saying live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. What the hell is that?
I will tell you in 1 second.
Stop putting that. Whatever that is, stop putting it.
All right. I'm not playing anything.
Okay, maybe
I'm not playing anything at all.
Yeah. The scroll on the bottom. Did you? I think you should put the shoddy information. You can put the shoddy information on there. Can we do that? Okay. We're going from another. It's two phones.
That's the wrong one. I got you.
Okay. This technological aspect of these shows are like real. So since we here,
there we
go. Okay.
No. Okay, got it.
Hello. I can't hear her.
Hi. Is this better now?
No. Oh. Yeah, I can still hear myself. I just wonder if I'm doubled somewhere else. Like on the actual stream. Let me see if I can.
No, because I hear doubles of you too.
Hello.
Is that better?
I can hear you perfect.
Okay.
I can hear double of me.
Oh,
I can still hear double of me. Let me see. Let me try this. Don't go nowhere.
okay.
Hi, Tiana.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm good.
Thanks.
I don't understand what's going on. Okay. So, are you a comedian down there?
Am I a comedian? No, I would not call myself a comedian. But I am a fan of comedy and love supporting all of the arts, including comedians and their craft.
So, maybe it was me.
I definitely have the smokes. I have the smokes part of this podcast.
So what are you smoking?
I actually need to roll something up now that you mentioned it. I just came from a meeting with the BIPOC collective that I am a member of. So I try not to smoke during those meetings, but since we're on the Smoke
Yo,
and
shout
Joke.
out to your life. That's very professional. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm going there just like that.
Yo,
Like this.
I'm getting all the feedback from you, Joy. Like everything I'm hearing feedback is. Do you have two things running?
No, just the one. I tried the other one.
I don't know. So we're gonna keep going forward. You said what? I didn't hear you.
It's much harder to do from her phone, I believe she said.
Okay. All right, Tiana.
Heyo.
Hey, how are you?
I'm better now that I'm rolling up and wounding down my day.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Wind down that day. What you smoking on over there?
We have a sativa. I don't know the exact strain, but I always ask for a half ounce of sativa, and he usually doesn't do me wrong. So.
Okay, I like that remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like he knows what your mood is.
Exactly. He knows my life. He knows my lifestyle. He knows my how I work, and so he usually gives me like a sativa hybrid to kind of balance it out. But yeah.
Word up. Shout out to the sativa. Can y'all hear me like this?
I can hear you great.
Okay, I was talking to Tiana. Your job title?
Yes, it's that's a very funny question. I've actually just started working with a friend to help with my own understanding of my personal brand and how to title myself. So I guess I would say content and event curator, as well as alternative relationships activist, and I'm still kind of working out all the things that I kind of do in one kind of bite-sized sentence. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell right now. Is content and event curation, as well as social justice and activism for the cutie pop community, as well as people. Cutie pop. So Q, the letter Q, T, and then POC is cutie pop. So the
clever.
Queer trans people of color is what that stands for.
Okay.
So it's still under the LGBTQIA umbrella, but it's more specific for people of color that are also queer and trans identifying.
Okay. Do you identify as queer?
I do, yes. I identify specifically as pansexual.
Okay, pansexual. Or was that means you have sex all across the board?
It means that I have sexual attraction, desire beyond any gender normative, any gender boundaries. So it's not that I will hook up with anyone. That is not what that means. It means that it's about the person and not the rapper that they come in.
Okay. It doesn't mean like you'll have sex with a tree or something like that. It's like,
that's actually called ecosexuality. So that's a whole other
there's a word
category. For that. Yes, there is a whole community for that. Actually,
you said ecosexuality.
Yes. So, and it doesn't I don't want you to think that people are fucking trees. I mean, that could be if that's your jam, but it's mostly a connection, an attraction to nature. So all of us probably have a little bit of ecosexual, in us. If you just kind of like get any joy and pleasure from nature, then you can identify as the ecosexual.
Wow.
That's
totally ecosexual. Love the sand.
I was on the beach today. Okay, this is Miami, so you see the people in the background twerking for the podcast. It's the podcast. Tiana, are you a sex expert? Are you
Am I a sexpert? I personally would not identify as that. I know many more talented and educated people that I would identify as quote unquote sexperts. But am I experienced and love to share my resources? And so in that way, yes, but I would not give myself that title. No. I would say I probably know more than most and am more open-minded than most.
Ooh, she said experience. Are you experienced? What's the, I don't want to say kinky. What's the most specific situation you can describe that you've been a part of that normal fuckies like you who just have normal fuck sex. Like yeah. Tell me, can you are you open to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm very open about all of my shared experiences because I feel like representation matters. And so, especially as people of color, we don't talk about our sexual experiences and histories, even fantasies or desires. So, and I know that a lot of people also
We're
can't
not
do
allowed
that.
to have fantasies or desires.
It's kind of how we stifle ourselves, whether internally or externally, especially as people of color. But yeah, to answer your question more directly, I feel like the story that gets the most wow kind of reaction, if you will, that I've had is actually it was the same week I had planned a gangbang for my partner. Oh, actually, they were two gangbangs in the same week, but they were male centered with females, female identifying, cis female identifying people as like the participants, if you will. And
what?
So those are the most fun. One was for my partner, and then one was for my partner's partner. So
What?
I had to plan both of those experiences in the same week, and that was a lot of fun.
Your partner has a male partner? Or a female
Yes.
partner?
I have a female identifying partner, and at the time, a male and female identifying partner, and so their birthdays kind of collided, and so one was one variation of the reverse gangbang, if you will, and then the other was another variation of the reverse gangbang, like days apart.
Oh my goodness! I feel so innocent.
I'm sorry. I had to clutch my waist beads on that one. I was like, what?
So, like when you were in planning, how do you recruit? Is there like a website or is there like a chat room?
Is there a website? No, it's all people within my community. And actually, because of those two experiences, a friend of mine reached out to me a few months later to then host her birthday where she wanted to have a gangbang. And so that was my first time with a female center, and then having a bunch of male participants.
It's like that. You want a gangbang? Go see you.
Yo, cause my birthday coming up in June, and I don't necessarily want the pressure.
My birthday's in May. I
don't know what like one of the line of dudes, because I don't know if I'm gonna like measure up, but I will be like ladies can come. 8 ladies come fuck on me. I don't know. Can you set that up? Is that up?
I don't run a service or anything, guys. I'm not.
Come on, you want to get paid enough?
No.
I've done my research.
We do not encourage people to do any illegal activity.
So I have to be careful with the kind of sex work we talk about publicly.
Right.
So for official reasons, I don't offer these services.
I'm saying as a friend, look up another friend. Find 4 women who want to fuck me. They can slap on me if they want. It's like, are you into like the stuff? How is it go?
Well, it's what you want, because as the center, it's fulfilling your fantasy. So each one of them have been completely different because each person as the center needed certain things to feel good about themselves, to feel secure. We also have to talk about sexual health and safety. It's not something that we just jump into lightly. It doesn't happen spontaneous, but I try to take all the necessary steps with the pre-planning so that when it all does come together, everybody's very clear about their boundaries. Everybody knows everybody's STI results and where they stand. They also know what is hard limits and what are okay. So if someone likes hair pulling, or if they want you to slap them on the butt, or if they don't want any of that, or what kind of language do they want to be used? Do they want to be called a dirty slut, or do they want to be praised as the goddess who's allowing this, to happen and to give themselves in this way to these people, or the king for that matter, like what kind of, mindset do you want to be in? And so that way we can set that container for when it happens, things do happen naturally and can unfold, more organically. So it does take a lot of forethought and planning, and nobody that enters it is entering into it lightly. And that's kind of one of the things I think people maybe misconstrue with like porn and reality, where it's like we can create a porn-ish fantasy, but also in porn, pre-negotiations are had, conversations about boundaries, definitely STI testing, so all of these things are still happening. I'll say it again.
You get different takes. You're not like fucking the whole time. It's like cut.
Exactly. Yeah. So even just physical logistics of like making sure that there's water, making sure people don't get cramps, like those are also important factors.
I want you to set up
Yes.
I want you to set up a compliment gangbang for me. I want to stand there naked and like ladies are like, it's not that small. It looks okay. Oh, I like that girth would be enough for me.
Right. I just hope you get you also have to have kind of your own people. I don't have just like a list of people in my Rolodex. It's like, hey, do you want to go praise this cock over here? Like,
no, I got two or three.
But doesn't it be about your cock?
Yeah, it doesn't have to. Like, she could be like, nice business we started. Whatever. I'm just going to be naked because it's my birthday.
Then I can help bring all of those pieces together. Yes.
Okay, cool. Can you tell the size of a man's dick just by looking at him?
It's interesting. I mean, it depends on what he's wearing. I feel like that's the first question. Like if you're wearing something that's thin, like basketball shorts or sweatpants, come in various thicknesses. You can tell. I mean, that was kind of the fun in middle school for me, was like checking who had what down there before I actually saw what it
like resting on the Lord's feet, or do you like surprised by like small hand guys dicks or something?
I hands and feet size do not equate to penis size. That is 100% a myth. And so those you can't even take into account. And some people are showers, not, they're growers. I mean, not showers. So it's like they start out maybe as one size, but then once stimulation and blood, starts rushing to the area, there's definitely growth that happens.
I'm definitely team grower.
Yeah, I'm a grower too, but it's just a short grower.
Grower all the time.
Can you the wetness or the size of a woman's vagina?
Like if I don't have my fingers in her pussy, like if they're not in her vulva.
Just looking at it, like she has a wet vagina.
She has a wet vagina. No, it's actually funny when I do talk to other women that are like get naturally wet or they squirt, like those are kind of, you don't know until you're literally having these conversations with people. You sometimes would not tell at all.
Yes.
So yeah.
Please have conversations. Can we bring that back in 2021?
Yes, please, absolutely.
Yeah, you should be talking to each other. I don't know. I've been having difficulties when I hear about what other men, and I guess I'm a straight male, and when I hear about how other men interact with women, I'm like, there's no conversation, there's no want for a deeper connection, and also in converse, there has been like what's the word? It's like an expectation for women to like, you supposed to know what to do to me already. So I can ask you about what you want. So that idea of conversation both ways doesn't make sense. Like, I don't think people live their lives like. So I'm always surprised like just fucking I'm like, you don't talk about what you need or what you need. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And even over time, our bodies change, our hormones change. And so our pleasures also change and how our bodies respond to stimulation. So even if you're not, in an open relationship or you're not having, casual sex, it's good to check in with your partner. What does do you still enjoy this? Like I remember when I did this thing this time, you reacted this way. What if I did it, a different way? Communication is so key, and I always advocate for people to communicate. Like, especially not everybody's the same, so how you caress and touch someone is not going to be the same way that everybody wants to receive that kind of pleasure. So you have to check in with them. You have to ask and also advocate for yourself, especially as women. We don't always prioritize our own pleasure, our own orgasms. And so because of that, we just kind of lay back and let it happen because we think that's what they want. But if they're in a true partnership, they want you to be pleased. They want you to enjoy the pleasure that they're offering, but you have to give them direction. You have to help them out. And you can make all of that dialogue very sexy. When people are like, how do I dirty talk? It's like, that's how you do it. You ask for, you bring in consent, you bring in your pleasure, you talk about sight, smells, touch, feel, the different senses to get you to where you need to be fully stimulated and engaged.
For sure. I'm so grateful. I have to get to a dinner that I'm actually at right now. I'm in Miami. I don't know if you can see the palm trees and stuff like that. So I want to ask you, give me some close questions. Is the relationship bad? Is the relationship over if sex is bad?
I think it's, what are your priorities in that relationship? If sex is a high priority, then maybe that needs consideration. But I've had many.
We'll go with that. Have you ever tried to open a relationship mid-monogamy?
I did. I was actually mid-marriage. We were married for 5 years, and then I asked if we can open our marriage.
How did that end up?
We actually were poly for 2.5 years, and then it made me realize that he's not the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, but we're still very good friends.
Oh, you got some awesome dick. How has sex been during COVID?
Oh, I have been masturbating a lot.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that.
I don't have a shower head. Did you get a detachable shower head yet?
I have a Hitachi wand, so I share my bathroom with my housemates, so I couldn't do that to them. I would take too long in the bathroom.
They would thank you. I have not had one roommate complain about having a detachable shower head. And I used to live with three women at the beginning of COVID. We were all like really, and then I bought that shower head, and we got along for a while.
She got that Japanese rubby rub. How can a man use you once a robot has?
You do use it together. You use it together. Men also can enjoy sex toys and also vibrations.
I used to try this. That's what ladies say, but I used to fuck with the little...
The cock ring?
No, that's an unnatural shaking for my balls. That's for you. Me and this young lady want to try anal.
Yes.
It's been tough. I'm not the largest dude, but I can't get it in there. What helps?
Yes. So first I want to ask, are you using lubricant? No.
Are you sure she's thoroughly into it? Because she also might just be clenching instead of moving.
Relaxation is a huge part of it, and full body relaxation. It's like mental, emotional, as well as physical. And so knowing that she is into it, she should have multiple orgasms before, because that also helps relax her. I would start with fingers, first. And so if you can kind of get like 2-3 fingers
from this angle right here.
Yep. Try to massage and caress and feel for any tightness in her sphincters and get more fingers in. You can also play with her clit while you're stimulating her butt. And then if you have any anal training toys, that can also be helpful.
So that way, right?
Somewhat.
Beads?
Anal beads are nice, yes. But if you actually want to train for penetration, anal plugs are better.
Yeah.
And they have really cute ones where they have little jewels on them. They come in silicone, glass, metal are the best that I would actually recommend, because they're easiest to clean as well. We're talking about butts, so we have to be open about all the things that deal with butts. I also would then, after the toys, then start slowly with, and it also depends on what position you're in. Everybody usually does on all fours, and sometimes maybe that's not the best position. Maybe she should be on her side, and you guys are spooning each other.
I was like, I was like on your back, on your side, maybe a better angle, because I got a curve. And if I'm coming from this way, I can kill somebody.
You want to avoid the spine. Yeah. All stimulation anally should go towards the belly button. So if you're stroking or rubbing, always direction of the belly button and not the spine. That's a good for any body, male or female. That's always the best rule of thumb. But start gradually, and it may not happen overnight. You have to use toys and be patient. I know you're so excited, but the reward is going to be. Yeah, but lubricant, lube, not spit, sir.
All right, lubricant. Give me your social
Yes. So I'm Tiana, Glitosaurus Rex. My Instagram is Glitosaurus Rex, glitosaurus.rex. You can follow me there. And then my website is glitosaurusrex.com. And that's where I have just if you want to catch all the shit and events that I'm doing. I'm actually producing an erotic film festival that's going to be at the end of this month. So I'm really excited to put that together and showcase BIPOC love and eroticism.
You gotta show this team on Boomerang.
You have to submit that to me. We're taking submissions till February 12th. So everyone has until then to enter.
I'm going to submit to you, Tiana.
Yes. I'm also a pro dom. So if you...
I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds like a hurt.
Doesn't have to.
Okay. When I get back, I'm gonna hit up the whole community, and we can somebody can do a compliment gang, and I'm just gonna stand naked, and
we do some worshiping.
I'll send you my website. It's not worshiping per se. It could be hey, you could do better in this area, but I still like it. You know what it is? It's all positive.
Yes, everybody deserves that. Create your own container to make you feel good. Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely. 2020 was so much. But thank you so much for being on the podcast, for your offering to the sex community, and to your offering as a human being outside of sex, as a vibe and a person. I really fuck with your spirit. And every time I see you, I'm like, yo, I know she's going through the world in a way that's pleasing to her own. So it suits the rest of us.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Olivia Newsom, you got some farewells?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back because it's really hard to navigate this broadcast from my phone. I have big fingers. Saturday at the Fable Jones Studios. I've got some art pieces in at the Black Gold Show. They are for sale, and there's a lot of other dope artists there. Come through 6 to 9 on Saturday. Info is on my Instagram and website. J underscore the God is www. dot the God is dot art. Patreon at the bottom. Become a patron, my guy. First swipe. You gotta swipe. You can be a patron. It's that easy.
You sound like a guy right now for sure, because there's so much echo. It's like a three-person echo. I can't believe it.
Your echo is worse than mine. You're like on some breathing echo and shit.
I'm O'Henny. You can check me out on the movie. You know the movie. Coming out. It's a new work. I got the new music coming out. The self-care song, July 25th. I want everybody to make sure they take care of themselves. Show themselves some love. This day forward, you deserve it. We definitely need more black people, Spanish people, and more people of color in general, just taking care of themselves and rooting for themselves. I'm rooting for everybody that's black. It's Black History Month, so we making history out there. Make sure you can download. I know it's money. It takes money to make all this happen. And the technology. So we need your money for that. Y'all be a holler. It's the podcast. The podcast.
Sorry, one thing at a time.